Next on Outdoor Journal, we hit the frozen water on Lake Champlain to enjoy some exciting ice fishing for northern pike and experience a comfy night on the ice.
Yeah, baby! There's a honker!
We also meet up with a group of anglers that have made spending a night on the ice an annual tradition. Then we visit the Plymsbury Wildlife Management Area to learn the important role this area plays for a variety of wildlife species.
This program has been made possible by a generous grant from the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department, conserving our fish, wildlife, plants, and their habitats for all Vermonters to enjoy.
There we go. Nice shot. Every year, thousands of people camp along the shores of Lake Champlain, but very few actually spend the night on the lake, especially in the dead of winter. Yet that's exactly what some dedicated anglers do on Missisquoi Bay, where the ice fishing can be as hot as the weather is cold. Spending a night on the ice is something I'd never done, so I decided to give it a try with my two sons. It was unlike any camping or fishing trip we'd ever experienced. And after just one night on the ice, we were all looking forward to doing it again. Tip up.
Tip up.
That's a nice perch. That's a start. There's our first northern. Good job, Nate. Once you feel it, pull, 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 pull. Don't be bashful. There you go. All right, slide it down the hole. On a chilly but otherwise beautiful day in late February, my sons Nate and Jake and I enjoyed some fast-paced ice fishing on Missisquoi Bay. Our goal was to catch a big northern pike, but the fishing for a variety of species was so good, we never even had a chance to get all our lines out. Actually, you know what? That's not a northern. That is a big chain pickerel.
Here in Missisquoi Bay, we have a wide range of species you can target. Most guys come for the northern pike, pickerel, yellow perch. There's also a big population of bluegills, sunfish. There's a few crappies. Everybody's got their own desire, and the fish are here. You want to catch a certain target species, you can find them here.
Gilbert Gagne has been fishing the fertile waters of Missisquoi Bay all his life, and he knows the lake well. In addition to being one of Vermont's best bass fishing guides, Gilly and his wife Mindy run Martin's Store in Highgate Springs. Here you can find a wide assortment of bait, as well as any other fishing supplies you might need. But when the ice fishing season is in full swing, Gilly offers more than just bait and tackle. He also provides a comfortable place to stay while fishing.
Nice.
Pretty cool, huh?
Some of the things I offer through my service is day rental shanties. They range from 6x12 up to 8x16. Most of them have 4, 5, and 6 holes. They're all generated with propane heat, propane lights, propane cook stoves if they want to cook lunch with a countertop. I provide all the propane. I drill all the holes inside the shanties. The campers and the overnight rentals are generally guys fishing pike, so they don't have any holes inside. They bring their own augers, but again, I provide the propane and I set their trailer all up and they're here for the weekend.
Gilly makes ice fishing easy. Shortly after we arrived, he went right to work drilling our holes. On Lake Champlain, each angler is allowed to fish up to 15 lines, so drilling holes can be a real chore, especially if you don't have a power auger. So I like to hook it right in front of the dorsal fin, which is laying flat, but you can see it there. And bring it through, drop them in the hole. Fire in the hole, minnow in the hole. We baited some of our tip-ups with small minnows for perch, while the larger bait was used on tip-ups rigged for northern pike. Before we could set out even half of our tip-ups, we had flags flying and the race was on. Get them out, get them out.
That's a perch.
That is a nice perch. That's a pike bait. You ate that pike bait. Big bait, big fish.
We should use that.
That's a yellow belly right there. There we go, good job. I think they're gorgeous fish. As the spring comes on and they start to spawn, we'll get red along the fins and the flanks, the males. Aren't they pretty? They are the most common fish in Vermont, and they're probably one of the tastiest. There you go. That's okay. I said, now we're talking dinner, Nate. That's a little better. Any perch large enough to fillet were kept for dinner. Because perch are school fish, when we caught one, we tried jigging to see if we could quickly hook a few more. Even though we had a number of perch hitting our tip-ups, we still approached every flag as if a large northern pike had taken the bait. See how it's slowly turning?
Yeah.
There's a fish on there. That's a northern.
So I get it.
Northern pike will often take a bait and run with it before working the entire fish into their mouth. If the spool on your tip-up is turning, you want to wait until it stops before setting the hook.
My right hand man.
All right, it stopped. Let's have a look, Nate. Feel them? Keep it coming.
It's a pike.
That's a northern pike. Good job, Nate. If you pinch down on that tail, you shouldn't have to really squeeze on the body. Turn a little towards me, Nate. Let me have a look at that. Oh, that hook's perfect. It's right in the side of his mouth.
Can
I unhook it?
Lay him down on the ice. Jake, you can unhook yours. Now take the, that's right, hold it by the leader. Grab the forceps. It's going to be on the other side of his mouth. And just take it. You can almost do it with your bare hands. But grab it by the bottom here. No. Always pinch in. And that's how you release it. Now pinch down. Now take it and pull it forward. Forward, the way the hook, opposite the way, there you go. Nice northern. Back, you go.
Oh God, my hands are cold.
You know how many tip-ups we've been unable to bait because our flags keep on flying? I do have hand warmers, so if it gets bad, this is not a mess. We got 2 more flags to check. We got a bunch to rebait.
I'm covered with freezing fish goo.
Hands covered with freezing fish goo is a good problem when ice fishing. Keeping up with our flags made for a busy afternoon, but we still found time to enjoy simply being out on the ice. Because Missisquoi Bay is so shallow, it freezes earlier than other areas on Lake Champlain, and by midwinter it often has up to 2 feet of solid ice. But every winter brings different conditions. Before going onto the ice anywhere, it's always a good idea to talk with a local angler, game warden, or bait shop owner who's familiar with the conditions. And if you're new to the sport, hooking up with a guy like Gilly is a great way to get started.
For a lot of people, it's a new experience for them, and when I bring them on the ice, if they need some help, I drill their holes. I spend all the time I need to with them to get them set up, rig up their lines for them, show them how deep to fish, show them how to catch some fish, and I let them go for an hour or 2 and come back and check on them and make sure they're doing fine through the day. And if they're not, I'll spend more time with them, get them dialed into some of these fish, because there's a bunch of fish here.
When a pike swallows the bait, it can be difficult to extract the hook. The temptation is to go directly through the long, toothy mouth of these big predators. But Gilly showed us an easier method.
So you can get behind the gills,
Right, come in from underneath.
come in from underneath, grab that hook from behind,
Right,
and just turn it out.
Boy, that works slicker
And there
than...
you are.
That works slick as a pike.
Yep. And there's your hook.
And that fish is none the worse to wear.
Turn him right around. Away you go.
And we have
Perfect.
another flag.
All right, thank you, Gilly. It was a good demonstration. We fished through the afternoon, but as the sun slowly disappeared behind the Adirondack Mountains, we pulled our tip-ups and prepared for our first night on the ice. As the temperature steadily dropped, the eerie sound of the ice expanding and cracking under our feet reverberated across the otherwise silent bay. Once we settled into our shanty, it was just another fun night of camping.
Staying on the ice, you're going to need some general supplies. Just like you're going camping, you're going to need your sleeping bags, your pillows, some pots and pans to cook on. In the shanty, we provide a vented propane heater, propane lights, propane cook stove, countertop, and 4 bunk beds with mattresses on the bunk beds. But you're going to need your sleeping materials and stuff to cook on, and deck of cards is handy to keep everybody occupied when the fish aren't biting. But generally, camping supplies is what you're going to need to stay on the ice.
After a meal of Vermont surf and turf, fresh perch with some venison from a moose Jake shot in the fall, it did not take us long to fall asleep in a setting that was as dark as it was quiet. But we were not the only people spending the night on the ice. Not far from us was a large crew from Massachusetts that enjoys camping on the ice as much as they do catching big pike, and there's nowhere they would rather be than Missisquoi Bay.
The instant I saw this place, I just fell in love, and that was 12 years ago. We've turned it from just me and my brothers coming up here to I got 35 guys coming up here now with me, and it's just a passion. You know what I mean? We count the days when we leave here, you know, till next year, so it's a lot of fun.
For this group of hardcore pike anglers, even 2 nights on the ice is not enough.
We first started off, we were coming up here, we'd come up on a Friday, early morning, fish Friday, Saturday, leave Sunday. Now we're here 5 days, it'll probably get longer next year. So every gentleman that is here is just passionate about ice fishing, loves it here, loves Gilly and his family, love supporting the local guys and whatnot, so it's just a lot of fun.
Pike fishing in this bay is probably some of the best pike fishing that Lake Champlain has to offer. We have great numbers here. There are some big fish mixed in, 10, 12, 14-pound fish. This weekend they caught a fish that was 15.9, 39 inches long. A lot of guys come from Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, and they end up staying on the ice. They enjoy the experience out here. People stay warm in the shanties and they fish through the night, and they have a good time.
Yeah, baby! Yeah! There's a honker. There's a monster for you right there.
These guys chronicle their trips with home videos and hundreds of photos. And to add some friendly competition to their fishing, they started their own pike derby.
The derby starts today. We go by length. It'll run today, tomorrow, and then Saturday afternoon. Last year, we had a great competition. The top 3 fish were within a 1/4 inch of each other, and the biggest being 39 inches, 16 pounds. So it's a lot of fun, and every fish recorded in 2.5 days of fishing, we got 437 pike. Biggest being 39 inches, and most of them, you know, you get a lot of fish in the 24-inch range, 20-inch range, but you do get, this is a great bay. You get a lot of the 6 to 8 pound fish, and it's just a great quality water here. That's why we're here, you know. They're in here. You just got to work for them.
It's my 5th year on lovely Missisquoi Bay with a nice group of ice fishermen from Massachusetts and some of New Hampshire and New England. And we're loving the fishing here. We've caught a bunch of fish in the last day or 2. And I just think it's world-class pike fishing here on Missisquoi. So that's what brings me back every year. And obviously hanging out with some great guys.
Oh yeah, that's a good fish.
That's a decent fish.
Yeah, that's a good fish.
When I say world-class pike fishing, we'll use yesterday as an example. Around 5:30 as dusk was approaching, out of my 15 tilts, 8 of the flags went up. And 5 of them had fish on them. So to me, that's an unbelievable fishery. Also, the fish that were caught yesterday had beautiful markings, really clean, and almost all of them had really fat bellies. So not only size, but a lot of quantity here. And yesterday, for example, I had 16 pike.
Yeah, baby. Woo! Nor'easter.
In addition to their strong accents and passion for pike fishing, these guys have another thing in common. Most of them use Indian Hill ice traps, tip-ups designed and made by Mike DeVillers.
I was fishing another brand of tip-ups many years ago, and We were having a great day. And I had 3 flags at once. And I'm driving around 10 and tip up to tip up to tip up. And I get to the last tip up and chipped a hole on the ice and pulled the tilt out with no spool on it. And it became my quest to make something that could withstand any fish in any lake, you know what I mean? So I started building tip-ups myself.
Mike has been making tip-ups for more than 12 years, and he has developed a variety of Indian Hill ice traps.
All my standard traps are made out of red oak. And I stain them all different colors so you can personalize your traps. I do different flag colors, so on and so forth. This is just a safety. This slides down. You trigger it, that opens like that. There's your anti-wind flag. That ain't gonna come out of there till that spool turns. You're never gonna get a wind flag. All your tubing, all your hardware, wire foam on the trap, everything is stainless steel. So it's never gonna rust, it's never gonna deteriorate or anything like that. They're built to last.
With dozens of guys using Mike's tip-ups, the annual Pike Fest Derby on Missisquoi Bay is quite the test market. The traps need to stand up to harsh conditions as well as tough fish. These guys catch a lot of pike, but every one is released after it is measured and weighed.
My biggest pike yesterday was 39 inches and it was 15.5 pounds. It was one of those things where the flag went up and I strolled over to the hole and nothing was moving or doing anything, and sure enough the spool starts slowly turning and I went to grab the line and he just started peeling line out of my hands, and I waited about a minute and then I set into her, and it was as if you had hooked a log, but the log kept moving one way and the fight was on, and after about a minute or so I got her through an 8-inch hole on the ice. She's a beauty.
Look at you guys left. Nice fish. Look at the size of this fish. Sweet.
Where we're fishing really dictates kind of our strategy for the day. So we're fishing in anywhere from 3 to 4 feet. It's very shallow. You want to find the healthy green weeds under the ice. And actually there's, 1.5 foot of ice, and then there's only probably 18 inches of water under there before you get into the heavy weeds. So you're looking for that deep, green colored, still living, breathing weeds. And the pike seem to cruise right on the tops of that looking for big perch. So it's really covering water. Some of my tilts are a 1/4 mile apart from each other. So in 2 days already, I put 26 miles on the quad.
This is totally different fishing from back in Massachusetts. This is hardcore fishing. Back in Mass, you're setting up 5 tip-ups, not 15. But back to with the campers, I mean, they're great. They got bunks, you get a sleeping bag, a pillow, they're heated. It's just a lot of fun, and just the whole experience of sleeping out on the ice and everything is just great.
Regardless of whether you're after a trophy pike or tasty yellow perch, spending time on the ice with friends and family is a great way to spend a winter day, or even a night if you're so inclined. In each shanty and camper, Gilly posts a short list of do's and don'ts that ends with "have fun." It was hard not to. Nate, Jake, and I had a wonderful time, and I know we'll enjoy many more overnight ice fishing adventures in the years to come.
Slide him back. We'll let him have the bait.
It's a great excuse to get out of the house in the wintertime. Yeah, it's a great thing to do with your kids. If you don't ski, if you don't snowshoe or whatever, what else do you do in the winter? This is a great thing to do with your family.
I love this state, I'll tell you. It's clean, the air is clean, it's quiet, and I think everyone here is really genuine, and I love that about Vermont. So, and I find that I fit right in here, so they don't mind me, and I don't mind them.
It's kind of a unique experience. Sleeping on the ice is it's definitely an experience that you need to try once in your life. It's hard to explain till you've done it once. The groaning and the cracking of the ice on the evenings is something to really, really check out.
We're up here in Plymsbury Wildlife Management Area. We're definitely up high, right in the spine of the Green Mountain Range. Plymsbury Wildlife Management Area is about 1,850 acres, primarily forested. However, one unique feature about Plymsbury is that it's sort of embedded in a much larger state lands matrix.
Located in the towns of Plymouth and Shrewsbury, the Plymsbury WMA is also nestled within the Coolidge State Forest. These two tracts of state land combined provide a critical link between the southern and northern portions of the Green Mountain National Forest.
That to us is a very key aspect of this complex of state lands here, including Plymsbury, because it does provide that sort of wildlife corridor for a lot of broad-ranging wildlife species like the black bear, very large home ranges. The moose is another example. Bobcats, these are animals that require extensive home ranges and require large areas for dispersal, and that allows for free genetic exchange up and down that Green Mountain spine of some of these large ranging animals. This is a pretty good spot up here for running into moose year-round. A lot of people actually come here for the moose season, and we actually have some moose that tend to winter up this high. So we're in the Plymsbury Basin, which is sort of a basin surrounded by kind of ridges or rings of the Green Mountains. The basin itself is fairly high in elevation. We're starting about 2,100 or 2,200 feet, and it kind of goes up from there.
Like much of Vermont, the Plymsbury WMA was once farmed. Century-old relics confirm its past land use.
What's hard to believe is that almost this entire area once was a lot of farmland, a lot of pasture land for sheep farming, and it's hard to believe because it's, almost nearly entirely forested now. So part of our goals on this wildlife management area is to first create and then maintain some larger openings, some herbaceous openings, because there are a lot of wildlife species that are very much keyed into that kind of habitat.
There are as many as 80 wildlife species in Vermont that key in on shrubby openings and young forest habitats at some point during their life cycle. This includes everything from grouse, wild turkeys and deer, to rare songbirds like the golden-winged warbler. Plymsbury WMA is also dotted with small wetlands created by beaver dams, many of which are surrounded by mature forests. Old hollow trees provide nesting cavities for wood ducks and other wildlife. The WMA also has a high-elevation beach stand that is actively managed for the benefit of black bears.
These beach stands have been visited for decades here now, and they go back year after year to take advantage of the mast crops, the beech nuts, which are very high in fats and oils, and that gives bears a real head start and a real jump on in the fall to prepare adequate fat stores on their body to go into the den. And once they go into the den, they're going to be spending 4, 5.5 months in that den without ever feeding. So they tend to go to these areas. They develop a fidelity to these specific spots. They bring their young cubs with them. Their young cubs imprint on these areas and learn where they are, and they tend to come back again annually and bring their offspring. So what we call key mast areas, key beach areas, we will make special management considerations to actually enhance that mast component through management.
The diversity of management projects on WMAs like Plymsbury benefit both wildlife and the many people that visit these areas every year.
A lot of wildlife appreciation goes on here, both in terms of active hunting, snowshoe hare hunting, moose hunting, deer hunting, grouse, woodcock, very popular here. We have a lot of interest in winter recreation, both mechanized with snowmobile trails here, as well as off-trail cross-country skiing. A lot of bird watching, the beaver flowages that are abundant around here, bring in a lot of bird life. So there's quite a host of diversity here in terms of wildlife, as well as the use that the public brings here.
Located only about a half-hour drive from Rutland, the Plymsbury WMA is easily accessible, yet surprisingly secluded. Whether you're from the area or traveling from afar, a visit to Plymsbury is well worth the trip.
This is a wonderful place almost any day, but if you follow the seasons and you key in on when some of these animals are in their active breeding phase, where their grouse are drumming or woodcock are singing, you can come up here and find that activity. Any day up here I find is pretty nice, and even on the days when it's not quite as pleasant as this, we have nice sunshine, but even a rainy day on Plymsbury isn't a bad day.
For more information on this or any other Outdoor Journal segment, be sure to visit our website at vpt.org. Our site features video on demand, contact information, and links to related sites. You can call, write, or email us, and as always, we look forward to your comments and suggestions.
Yeah, baby. There's a honker.
This program has been made possible by a generous grant from the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department, conserving our fish, wildlife, plants, and their habitats for all Vermonters to enjoy.